right, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Wellness Wednesday. It's always an honor to be here hosting. My name's Marilee Marisic, and I have the honor tonight of hosting a very special call with a very special guest. And before I get to that, I just want to let you know we're going to be talking about literally the foundation of vitality and how healthy cells and a healthy gut make for healthy you. And we're going to dive into that. So my special guest tonight is she's a dear friend of mine, but she's also the Chief Marketing Officer and head of R&D at LifeVantage, Julie Boyster. And she's just a gem. She's a wealth of information. And I always love having her on this call because she is a health bug herself. She loves it. She loves the conversation around it. She totally gets it. And it's always so fun to just pick her brain a little bit and see what she has to share. She's understanding this full story of activation. And that is really what we are so passionate about here. So again, tonight, really talking about the vitality and the foundation of your health. And if you've joined us on Wellness Wednesday before, you know that we talk about in order to get well, fix the cell. In order to be well, fix the cell. In order to age well, fix the cell. So key and core to our health. And I'm so excited that we're going to be introducing just even another concept of the foundation of health and talking about your gut. But if you've ever been on Wellness Wednesday before and heard my story a little bit, this is a near and dear topic to my heart. And that's because I literally was back when I was 19 years old. I'm in my mid 50s now, but when I was 19 years old, I had a root canal. And overnight after the root canal, it turned into an abscess in the roof of my mouth. And I was so sick. In fact, instead of hospitalizing me, which they probably should have done, they literally tried to get on top of the infection. It took 16 rounds of antibiotics to completely rid my body of the infection. I was covered with, looked like I had measles. I was so sick. But back then, it seems like the olden days, Julie, but back then, they really didn't understand the microbiome. They didn't understand that balance of the gut. And it's to no surprise that almost immediately following that, I ended up having food allergies. I had just a slew of health issues. And I didn't honestly even make a direct correlation to even how my mental health or brain health, all of those things were a direct correlation to that. And so it's been a decades-long journey for me to really understand and learn about gut health. And it's really been, you probably would agree with me, that it has been only in recent times where people are really understanding the microbiome and the health of that and how that plays into health. And so when I found activation, it completely changed my world. And so now I get to geek out about it. I absolutely love the conversation of activation. And now we're going to jump into that conversation of the other foundational piece to your health, and that is with your gut. And so I'm so excited. So again, we're talking about the foundation of vitality tonight. And Julie Boyster, my goodness, just such a gem. And I love having her here. And so Julie, it's an honor always to just bring you in and have you share.
Thank you. I love being here. You know that every time it's like, can you come on? It's like, absolutely. I'm there. When and where? What are we talking about? Let's dive in.
I love it.
Because you guys, like you said, I think it's a passion of yours clearly, and same here. Like the more that people that we can help feel better, feel more vitality in their life, and whatever that kind of looks like for them, whatever goals, whatever passions, ambitions, you need your help to live that out. And so that we're able to help more people, and this education helps reach more people, like I'm all in for that, because everyone deserves to live, with their best, with their remarkable in mind. So
absolutely. Oh, I love that.
The invite.
I love that. And I'm all about remarkable. I think that's fantastic. A new word. I love it.
Well, and my remarkable is different than yours, and that's okay. Yeah. And we can both, through our health and our ambitions, live that out and cheer each other on in the process. And that's just the beautiful thing of when you're healthy, you can feel unstoppable.
It's really true. It's really true. And I feel like my health journey has been that. And so I always tell people, like, being your best own health advocate is where it's at. So digging into education is why we actually started doing Wellness Wednesdays. So I love this platform to really be able to educate each of you.
And I learned something. Come to the inevitable, right? The whole like age is just a number. All of that is really true and really empowering. So yeah, let's go. Let's dive in. This is awesome.
I love it. Okay. So we talk about cells here, like we geek out on cells. We've done that for a long time. But Julie, I've jotted a few questions down. So I'm just going to kind of walk through some of these and let you just share the love. Okay. So why is it impossible to talk about real health without starting at the cellular level?
Oh, well, good question. And the simple short answer is like everything starts at the cellular level. So all health, if you think about all of those processes, biologically, genetically, that happen in your body are happening inside of cells. So mood, heart, skin, your microbiome, your brain, these are all things that they only can work when your cells are working and functionally. If you think about like upstream effect is being like your organs and those systems and even like your mood. If the downstream is broken at that root level, that foundation is broken or that problem is downstream, what is upstream will be impacted. And you're always going to be reactive in a state of reaction if that cellular foundation and that cellular health is not there. So it's kind of like you're fighting a losing battle, because if those cells, again, just at that level where everything is starting from, all of those biological processes, everything happening inside your body, if that's off from the beginning, you can't expect it to fix itself kind of downstream. You will see that impact. You will see the result of that cell being unbalanced. And so when we say we are, getting to real health and starting at the cellular level, that's what we mean.
I love that. And honestly, like I said in the beginning, in order to get well, fix the cell. So it really does start there. And it's just so key and fundamental. So once we understand that concept, so you mentioned cellular balance, but what does cellular balance actually mean?
So think of your cell. I think there's two ways to explain it. Your cell can either be in a positive state, in a state where it's functioning, where it's repairing its damage, it's communicating properly, or it's bad. There's really no in between. So it's a little bit different of a concept, because some people think of balance and they think of like, oh, I've got to perfectly position it. Cellular balance is actually in the positive side, where it can balance all of those functions and stay healthy and be in that positive kind of energetic state, doing what it is supposed to be doing, functioning like it was made to function. So it's using energy, it's efficiently, it's repairing damage, it's communicating properly, because you never want to have the cell, and if the opposite, it's not a balancing act. It's either there and it's doing that and it's in balance with itself, or it's not. And so cells in balance are functioning as they're designed to do, and cells want to be healthy. Like, they know how to be naturally healthy, they know their jobs. Sometimes, though, they need that little help to get back into that positive, balanced state when things are thrown at them that kind of throw off that balance. So anyway, I don't know if that's helpful, of like, kind of, it's not like necessarily a teeter-totter. It's either good or bad, and balance is really like, I'm able to balance all of those functions and stay healthy and balance all of the mechanisms within that cell itself.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense. And enter activating those cells to function like they.
Yay.
Yeah, it's really an amazing.
That's what I kind of was meaning with, like, we just it needs a little reminder. And luckily we know now that, nutrients and the right nutrients and the right amounts can get it back to that balance where it's like, all right, I'm good. I've got what I need. I'm back kind of restored and working. But that's the activation, is it's then making its own health because it's balanced.
It's really incredible. It's very exciting when you really start going down that rabbit hole. It's amazing what our bodies are capable of doing, given the right things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can be in control of it again, that's what I think is so empowering about that activation message, is you can do something about it. You're not just, oh, well, I was stressed today. Like, I hope my cells can get back at some point. We can help them and give them the leg up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we mentioned at the start of the call, we're talking about cellular health and then that connection to another foundation, which is gut health. And, even to my own story, like, my goodness, once we got the gut in balance, everything really starts to change as well. And yeah, you feel it's amazing. So let's talk about that gut connection a little bit. So we hear a lot about gut health, but what is the real connection between the gut microbiome and cellular health?
Yeah, so wow, those two are deeply intertwined. When you think of kind of all that's going on, all of those processes. First, when we talk about like the total gut, I think it's important to mention we're not just talking about that microbiome or the environment where that bacterium live. We're talking about the entire ecosystem, your gut lining, which is your epithelium, the mucus layer that surrounds that, the immune cells, the intrinsic nervous system, the vascular network, plus then all those trillions of microbes that kind of call that area home. And so that's gut health is massive. Like, it is just because it's a massive part of your body. It's kind of the in to the out. And if you think of kind of everything and all of the neighborhoods that it kind of exist and are helping our bodies function, like, our gut is vital and so interconnected. And then cells, like we've already talked about, are that kind of that foundational level that keeps everything going. If you, again, start at that cellular level, work out to the systems, you're going to have more health kind of radiating that way as well. So really, cells and then gut health outside of your skin, which is like another major real estate. These are two of the largest real estates within your body. And they're completely connected and dependent on each other to work and really power and keep your body in communication. So think of it as like a two-way circuit, and you're getting a live feedback loop where the condition of your body cells are determining the strength, the diversity, the intelligence of your gut ecosystem. And your gut is then the interface, because it's an organ system between the outside world and everything coming back and everything that's being thrown at the cells. So it's kind of this two-way street, two-way circuit, that they're really influencing each other. It's not just the cell working its way in. Your gut is kind of that first line defense back to that cellular network and that cellular level. So they're constant communication with each other, sending signals back and forth, really designed and beautifully designed to make sure your body is really functioning optimally and again back in balance. So that's what we mean when we say like that connection. And so you can just kind of see one without the other. It doesn't really work when we're talking about health or foundational health or vitality, just because of all of those points of connectivity.
Well, that makes sense when you're talking about like the gut and brain connection, and how sometimes that's a disconnect. If the gut is out of balance, the brain's not functioning. It's so interesting. So a little bit more on that then. So how does the gut imbalance silently impact energy, inflammation, mood, metabolism? There's so many things.
Yeah. Well, you say that silently, and sometimes that's the case because it's maybe not prevalent or known, or we don't have that connection yet with our brain. But gut imbalance is in of itself really not silent. When it's loud, when systems are off, you feel it in just your mood, even like areas that you're feeling some inflammation, digestion, skin, your metabolism, and how well you are metabolizing food into energy. It gets pretty quick when something is off, and you hear it. It's hard, though, I think, again, for individuals to connect it or connect some of those symptoms that seem loud back to the gut, and that, oh, this might be stemming from something more systematic or gut health related. And that's what I need to fix, again, kind of at that root, so that some of these other things I can experience better. So, for example, like mood, motivation, mental clarity, serotonin and dopamine, all made in the gut. And when your gut is imbalanced and those pathways are altered, you're going to feel flat, foggy, not like yourself. I'm off today. I'm not, I'm not connecting the dots like I can. I don't feel good. I don't feel like getting out and doing much. Even when maybe your overall life and there's no really hard stressors, hitting you and impacting that, you may think it's more something maybe mental, or like there's something in that brain area, but it actually could be something in your gut. So again, like, so connected, and people, something that's pretty loud that you're not even realizing is maybe stemming from a gut imbalance. Another example, your gut is the headquarters for your immune system. So imbalance in the immune system is when you're overreacting, or you're on alert, and your immune system is like, what else is coming at me? And things that should be harmless, things that you should kind of be able to fix and move on from, actually turn harmless triggers into like seasonal allergies, skin flares, mystery aches. And again, you wonder, why is my body acting this way? Why are these things popping up for me kind of seemingly out of the blue? The root issue there could be the gut as well, just again, because of how that headquarters is in this system. And if it's imbalanced, you will feel it. You will feel seasonal allergies, the mystery aches, the skin flares, and not even be connecting like, oh, that means my gut is off. Like, you're going to probably try to fix that symptom and help with maybe something topical or something to block, instead of really getting to the root. So it's really often that people experience things in their body and they don't really know the why, or aren't even connecting it. So that's where I think the gut is silent, but the symptoms themselves and all that it can impact are definitely impacting like the day-to-day.
I think that's so true. And actually, something you said there just made me think about, I had just seen somebody write this, and it's really true. We talk about cold and flu season, but it's really sugar season as we start to enter, right? Like, you get into the holiday season, and it's, just sugar holiday in October, and then again, probably November, December, and people really start to struggle. Immune systems tank. But you think about that gut, literally, if you had a visual of it, I've heard it said that it's like 30 feet of intestinal tract that is moving through our bodies on average, which is an amazing thing to think about. I think about the garden hose in my front yard and stretch that out.
Probably about 30 feet, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, that is a lot of surface area, and I want to make sure that that is all healthy from, all the way through, right? And that's why I love this conversation, because we have a way to do that. So let me ask you, this kind of flows into the next thing. So we're talking about system connectivity, but I've heard you say this, Julie, that, and I want you to talk about this, how the body's connected, like healthy cells make healthy tissues, make healthy organs, and make healthy systems. So can you kind of explain that a little bit, and the structure and why that matters?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about just, cellular health is that foundation, and that downstream, if downstream is not functioning and is not, everything's kind of impacted. The tissues that are created from those cells, the organs that are comprised of those tissues, the organ systems that then rely on a network and a myriad of organs to be functioning and processing health. If you're off at the beginning, it's hard to expect, those final body systems to be optimal and functioning. So kind of an analogy I like to use is if you think of your body as like a company or an organization, and every part of this body is built in layers. So if your cells are like the functional units, like individual contributors, individual workers. Tissues are going to be groups of like similar cells that are performing like the same job, like a marketing department or an R&D department, right? So similar in function, sharing a job, kind of working together. Then those tissues make up the organ, which is like a whole division or kind of those multiple tissue types that are coordinating different functions, kind of just that upper level from like those smaller teams. And then your system, and all of those organs working together are that company that are then made up of, finance, marketing, sales, to have a functioning organization. And for a company to be winning and growing and thriving, you need each of those departments or each of those divisions working optimally. One can layer up the other and help the other to kind of thrive. But if something is wrong with those kind of workers and the ones executing the work and the ones kind of at the forefront of this, like that's where that dysfunction ripples upward. And that kind of entire company then is at the impact of that, because those workers are not engaged, not ready to commit, and that you see that kind of within that department and organization. Your body's the same way. So treat it like an organization, get those cells in order, and that's, you'll be winning, and growing and thriving, with health kind of being that foundation.
I love that analogy. Such a great analogy. I'm a very
kind of corporate world, but not all in corporate America. But hopefully that kind of helps explain that a little bit.
It definitely does. So where in that system do you think the breakdown starts to occur?
Yeah, well, it's really different for everybody depending where that dysfunction occurs and what's out of balance, and what, where it's influencing the majority, the tissue, the organ, or the organ system most impacted. But I guess at the end of the day, like anything, if you don't have that strong foundation, if those cells aren't in place, it's a really pretty quick domino effect. More things are likely to go wrong. So if you start just kind of by like, I don't have energy today, if that goes unchecked, and if there's now multiple days, that turns into weeks, and lack of energy can progress to things for people like skin issues, brain fog, digestion. So that's kind of you leave it unchecked at that foundation level. It may seem small at first, but then it's quickly that more cells will be out of that balance and not able to function properly. So cellular health is just applicable to everyone. We all have cells, like regardless of what's going on in my world and your world, like we're living in two different areas of the country. We're faced with different types of stressors. We encounter different people and different things within our environment, but cellular health is just at the end of the day applicable to everyone, because regardless of what's going on, regardless of where you are and what's kind of coming at your body, if you're improving that cellular health, your foundational kind of health improves and you will feel better, no matter kind of what is coming at just you with your specific scenario or your specific experience.
I think that I couldn't agree with you more. And I think it's just being aware, paying attention, tuning into your body, So kind of leads me into my next question then. Let's talk a little bit about prevention versus reaction. So most people treat health reactively. I mean, I think that's just like you start to feel sick and like, oh my goodness, let's fix whatever. I don't want to feel sick. I don't want to feel this way. But from a science perspective, what does it look like to get ahead of health issues before symptoms actually show up?
Yeah, so this is my favorite topic because this is activation, right? This is what our products at their core are designed to do. It's not letting it get to the point where there's an out of balance. We're with activation, you take activation products, key activators to help your body make those things that it needs to help those cells make what they need to do to stay in balance and stay thriving. So it's my favorite topic and my favorite question because people don't realize, back to my earlier, lack of energy can, lead to some other things down the road. For some people, that just feels inevitable. Like, oh, I turned 40, my back hurts. Like, that's going to be part of life from here on out. Or I've got kids now, so my energy is just going to be low. Those are all very much reactive. There's not much I can do, but we know there's this difference of your cells just need to be reminded you're getting hit hard this way. Like you can give it the edge and get back to kind of, and give you the leg up on your health. And what does that even look like? People have a hard time fathoming what that even looks like. But your body knows how to be healthy. It has a memory. It can remember very quickly. You just need to give it the right ingredients and the right amounts that are really supporting those natural processes so that everything gets back into balance before it gets out of whack. You're staying ahead of that dysfunction. Reactive care, you're waiting for those symptoms. You're waiting for them to be, to signal that I'm stressed or damaged or I'm not able to repair myself. That shows up in skin inflammation, brain fog again. You're going to feel kind of up and down. Proactiveness is really, again, strengthening those cells so that they're able to respond when stress is hitting you hard from that angle, that your cells are properly reacting to that and building resistance to that versus being in a crisis and signaling to your body, something's off. We've got to fix this.
Well, I'm really excited because we're talking about, that proactive, reactive, just making prevention is so key and really staying on top of that. And you guys.
Well, if you think of modern medicine, sorry, I know I'm jutting into our questions.
Yeah.
Most people approach it by oh, you're having a runny nose. Here you go. Let's put a Band-Aid on that. That's annoying. Let's fix the runny nose, instead of really going, well, why was your nose running in the first place? What was off? Where is that root imbalance? Or, so it's a difference that we have. And when it clicks and when you realize yeah, I'm tired of just being reactive and putting a Band-Aid over a symptom or something, or just giving myself more of something and my body doesn't know what to do with it or how to make it work. I don't know, activation is so empowering, but that getting to that root and fixing it that level, it's just different. Most of our modern medicine, again, is worried about masking the symptom or getting rid of the rash topically, but never figuring out why that was there in the first place, or trying to give you that boost of clarity so the brain fog is gone for a hot second without really knowing why was that even a thing in the first place. So it's empowering that there's an approach and a company out there that's thinking that way and giving people that option before they ever really have to worry about chasing that or figuring that out.
I love this conversation because I say it all the time, you have to get to the root cause. It is one of those things, and that really is root cause is cellular. If you want to get well, fix the cell. So what are the symptoms that I've got? I love that you touched on that. I think that is so key. And honestly, you are talking about, so there is definitely a pun intended here. You're talking about having a healthy edge to something.
Mm-hmm.
And very cleverly, in your brilliant mind, you've created just a conversation around this. So let's dive into this a little bit. So there is definitely a purpose for you guys kind of coining the term the healthy edge. But the healthy edge stack is something you guys are putting together, which is, I think, is brilliant. So the healthy edge stack is built on original science, now backed by emerging research. So fun. But what problem was the stack designed to solve exactly?
Oh man, I can't wait to talk about this. I'm gonna pull up a couple of slides here, if that's okay.
Yes,
just
that'd be great.
That will help illustrate here what what I'm kind of about to dive into, because again, like you mentioned, emerging science meets, the original breakthrough. And it starts with that protandem NRF2, which I know you've talked a lot about. It's the pioneer, the one that made the difference for you kind of in your health, because again, it gets cells back into that positive energy, balance, doing all of their roles, the roles you need it to do, and really, really restored, and really, that creating of antioxidants, that is really the key driver of that. And then we've talked a lot about how the gut is connected, an amazing product with P84, which is our newest kind of gut activator. And I'll go into a little bit of, it as we move along here in the slides. But these two, and if you think of how that cellular level and that gut, just back to our conversation of that, how it's all connected and how systems kind of need each other. And then it works the other way, kind of communicating back. Really what that delivers when you've got both systems, when activation and your body is making those things at that foundational level that keep everything in balance and restored, you're getting the edge on your health. You're being more proactive. You're coming at life with that different, more with rosé colored lenses, and it's good to have those on. It's not a bad thing. I feel better. I can do the things I want to. I can tackle what the day has in store. The day, before this is hard, and my body is tired, and diet and stress and aging and sleep, it can really overwhelm you. Throw off one of those pieces of the equation, and your cells feel it, your body, your systems feel it. So what we want people to realize is that they can get ahead, they can get the edge, by really giving our bodies what it needs to make the things it needs for health, to optimize those cells and ensure kind of proper communication back and forth. So you're really at the end of the day avoiding burnout, and getting a leg up on just what that is. So we call protandem NRF2 our defense. So this is for all my sports fans out there. It's football season, but regardless of kind of the sport that we're talking about, there's that age-old adage of defense wins championships. Because if you don't have a strong defense, if you're not helping if you're helping the other team, or the other team's able to kind of score easy, you're going to struggle with the score and the game at the end of the day. So, but the defense is really that cellular defense of protecting your body at that cellular level, making those antioxidants. And then we call the LifeVantage P84 our offense of firing up that second brain. It's helping you the right ingredients in the right amounts to produce peptides along that chain that 30 feet you mentioned earlier, Mare, of the in to the out. There's a lot of real estate there, and you need key peptides kind of along that system that are helping regulate the gut, repair the cells, and really then restore the microbiome and those different neighborhoods that your gut is made up of. So this is kind of being scoring and getting ahead like an offense would. And really at the end of the day, we're restoring cells, we're restoring system communications, but really giving people a chance to perform, at their optimal level, and really giving you that foundational health So you, regardless of what comes at you, we can't prevent that. What we can give you is the tools and the team, so you can stay in the game. It's fun to be in the game. It's fun to reach goals. It's fun to put yourself out there. It's fun to try new things. And these two products are helping, people achieve that at the end of the day. And then it comes back to, activation. So just to anchor it back into that, we're helping your cells make those antioxidants with Protandim. That's the defense that keeps it in balance. That's probably going heavier into the science and the specific types. We could spend more time talking about that, as well as this peptide side. But at the end of the day, it's I've got my daily offense, defense, so I can stay in the game, not only stay in the game, but be winning the game and feel like I'm winning the game and feel like I'm, living life. And instead of just adjusting, monitoring, defending, get run down, get back up, that all kind of goes away with these two. So I think, to kind of sum it up, if we're talking healthy edge, life is hitting you hard. Make sure you've got the right components that are helping you, keep that score, not even just even, keep it so you're ahead and you're winning. That proactive and reactive approach, which we've been talking about, of just these two are staying proactive. It's getting ahead of things. It's not putting a Band-Aid on symptoms. It's doing that through number 3, the right ingredients in the right amounts. We're not overdoing in one area. We're getting exactly targeted. There's scientific studies going into this that make it so we can say what we can say, what we're able to say about activation. And then our original breakthrough is emerging gut health, science. Our original activator meeting emerging gut health science. And like you said, I think you said it earlier, to me, I think the analogy that I use with gut health is we're at a Taylor Swift concert, but we're on the outside still. There is so much emerging science. We can hear that it's a Taylor Swift concert. We can hear the music. We can hear the crowd, but we're still kind of on the outskirts of really what is going on and how in depth and, how integral gut health is. That's kind of just an analogy I like of how exciting it is to be kind of on this emerging and be ahead of understanding that and not just, again, supplementing our gut with pro and prebiotics. We have that, but going a step beyond that and helping it regulate itself, repair itself, stay strong as within an organ. Anyway, I geek out about that because I think there's so much. We're not yet in the concert, but we're emerging on it. We know it's there. We're learning more every day, and we're going to stay abreast on the science to make sure we're giving people, the products that we are uncovering and are feeling like will help them. And then it's just simple, easy, and convenient. It's easy to take these two. You mix them together. 2 little sip packs right now with Phyto 1 and 2. You can drink it with your Protandim, and it's just go then worry about your day and what else is coming, because you've already kind of armored up in a sense with the products from that regard. So that's kind of in the nutshell to answer your question. Thank you for letting me share those slides, but kind of the gist and the kind of too long didn't read, top 5 version of what Healthy Edge is able to give people.
I love it. I think it's the perfect name for it, and it's a dynamic duo. And can I just tell you, Julie, I've been taking now the P84 on top of my NERV2 activator and my other activators. Let's just nod our hat to the fact that here we know how to activate collagen, we know how to activate mitochondria, NAD, we know how to activate brain. There's so many things we activate, but this dynamic duo, the Healthy Edge, we're talking about today, just that key foundational piece, that Protandim NRF2 and then the P84. But I'm curious, and I bet our audience is a little bit curious. I'm just going to throw this one out of left field at you, but do you know how they came up with the name P84? What does it mean?
P stands for phyto. So I think phyto being, that's just plant, it's all plant-based ingredients from naturally derived ingredients from plants. And then there's 84 between the two kind of ingredients that are leading to 84 different functions or different processes within the gut itself. So that was kind of the foundation of the name and the premise behind that. But kind of 84 benefits, things you can say about gut health from the pieces and what it's contributing to, all based from plants. So,
which is amazing. I know it's just filled with fruits and vegetables. And I know that I always heard eat the rainbow. And I think that in our daily diet, I think the average person, I mean, we're really good, my husband and I, when we're dialing in our diet. But I mean, you're supposed to have like 12, 14 different servings of fruits and vegetables in the day, just at a minimum. And most people don't even get a fraction of that. Yet this is giving us the rainbow, right? Like the purples, the reds, the
oh my gosh. You've got your greens, like your spinach, your broccoli, your watercress, asparagus, your orange, which is like carrots, papayas, sweet potatoes, mangoes, pumpkin, oranges, the reds, pomegranate, rosehip, tomato, red bell pepper. This is kind of a fun, like, what's not in this? Am I posting these? The purple of like blueberries, eggplant, purple cabbage, ebony carrots, like, and just the fact that, again, those ingredients, all really good, great ingredients, like you're never going to cook with all of those within any given week, or it's hard to give your body, you know, like, even if you are the healthiest of eaters, kind of using that diversity but the right ingredients in the right amount, what those are doing at the end of the day are like restoring your microbiome, but also, again, restoring cell signaling communication. Those green and orange nutrients are really they're key to activating those peptides that the gut needs to stay focused on a task. So like the regulation, again, help that cell in that balanced state be producing and regulated. So fun when you start to see like and make the connection of that's the ingredients in there, and again, like, and what they're able to do, again, in the right kind of specifications. But there's a reason you say you need to eat your greens or eat your rainbow, I think is what you said, because again, your cells rely on them. They need them to be kind of in that balanced, restored state.
Well, I love this. And I think that, you know, juicing is super expensive. And I know that's like something everybody does, but it's expensive. And there's just no way we can get all of that. Yeah, that whole rainbow every day. So this is so great. So all of it in the right place with the right ingredients. And it's no guesswork, which I just love that piece of it. So let's kind of end with this question for you. Like if someone is listening and they're like, okay, so I hear activation and I know there's a lot of goodies, but if there's just like one foundational shift someone could make, your recommendation would be start where?
Oh, I mean, with Protandim Nrf2 for me is always going to be that foundational, just because, again, of that cellular imbalance of like, it's going to help across the forefront. But Healthy Edge is a great one, just again, because of what we talked about with the cells then and with your gut and how connected that organ system is with so many other things that we experience that we're not even, you know, sometimes relating to our gut health. So I like those two. I love the collagen because it's fun to, you know, show what collagen density when you're activating your own collagen, producing collagen that your body's like, I don't know what to do with this. I got this. Like how much more impactful that is. Really strengthening. I mean, this one is working in the gut as well, but our mind-body system really targeting the GLP-1 and that brain gut specifically. So up-leveling the connection you have with food and kind of that emotional eating and taking that out of it and how much that plays in. So all of our, you know, kind of key activators and Tri-Synergizer, I forgot, like NAD and Nerf1, because they're all so good. But so it's hard to answer your question. I'm like, oh, start with Nerf2, but because that's kind of the non-negotiable. But we have so many other things that are just And what's beautiful about LifeVantage and our approach to not just formula development, but like really researching how, one impacts the other. I strongly believe like our bodies are symphonies and comprised of all of these different, beautiful instruments and musicians, and we're tuning with all of our products these different areas of the symphony. And so that, that overall health and that vitality restoration that is coming from that, if you think of just the sound kind of continuously improving as one area gets in tune, it impacts the other. And we study that. We're not just going to say, 1 + 1 = 2. There's the things that the individual products are each bringing to the table. But at the end of the day, when we study it, what we find is when you're activating and your body's restored and balanced in one area, it actually is creating benefits that don't exist between singular products. So we've got these great synergy stories. So that's what's like, everyone deserves that. Everyone needs all of it because it's so good. And it's just, we're creating those symphonies, and that, I guess we're coming full circle, but allowing people to live their remarkable and show up to the life on their terms.
I love this. I love this conversation. And, I have to just share as a testament, like, if someone's asked me, like, where do I start? Foundationally, like we said it tonight, start with the cells, start with the gut, foundationally. And then I'll just say, out of my own personal recommendation, then add other activators as you can. And Julie, I don't know if you know this part of the story, but I'm just going to tell you, like, blood work does not lie. I have been activating with these activators now for 10 years. This is my 10-year anniversary month. And it's amazing to see what has changed and transformed in my own health. And I just started taking the products from a preventative standpoint. It wasn't like I was trying to address something necessarily, but how it's helped so many ways. It's just been profound. But I just had my most recent functional medicine type of blood work where they're testing everything. And they're looking at all of the functions in your body. So it's very comprehensive. And my results, so it was interesting. When I first did this about 1.5 years ago, I was jaw on the ground because it was showing that my chronological age was like, 54 and a half. And my biological age at that time was 16.3 years younger. So I keep layering activators as we create them, like that GLP-1, that core is just like, I'll probably never go without it. So I layered that activator on. And you guys, 1 year older, this is like just a month ago, I get the blood work back. 1 year older, I am 18.1 years younger. So activation works, period. So I just am so excited to just see what else we continue to develop and what other things we can activate, and just enjoy that vitality. And that's what we were talking about, the foundation of vitality, cellular health, gut health, all of it. Activation is a beautiful thing. So any final thoughts, Julie, as we wrap this up?
No, I mean, just foundational health. What does that look like for you? Like, if you truly took a step back and be like, what if, and allow yourself to think big picture, and some of the things you've been, even just resigned to the fact that this is going to be part of me forever. What if that, was not there? What if you could fix the root and get to the root cause, and just that kind of that hope alone of like, and just that we're, this approach, I think everybody, again, just didn't talk a lot about like the differences between activation and supplementation. I mean, we did, but not that kind of directly. But we're up leveling. We've known for a while that, supplementation and supplementing where our diet isn't giving us something, or if we're not making it as important, but activation just takes it to a whole new level. It's empowerment. It's, working with you. It's meeting you where you're at, and it's going to work kind of with you to, what does that restoration look like? So No final thoughts other than it's important that this get to everyone's hands, and we have something so incredible and so just exciting and something so on the forefront. It's, still is, and will continue to be, and we're going to keep doing it. So come along, join us.
Yes, please. I love it. Such an amazing conversation tonight, Julie. I so appreciate you. And if you're catching this before it launches, literally everyone will have the ability to order that Healthy Edge stack or that P84 by the time we hit the 1st of November. So it's an exciting time. It's an exciting conversation anytime we're talking about activation, and anytime we get to have you as a guest, Julie. Aww. It's always a treat.
No, I love it. Anytime. You know how to get a hold of me.
I do indeed, my friend. So thank you, Julie, again for joining us. And to our audience, thank you so much for being here. And if you've got questions, please get back to the person that invited you to watch this. And by all means, get activated. And so appreciate you. So as always, join us next week or any and every Wednesday. We are always here interviewing new guests and bringing this conversation to the forefront. Activation is so special. So with that, thank you.